Yeah, including you watching the recording. I'm talking to you. You talking to me? Greetings, campers. Well, let's see. We've got a lot of loose ends that perhaps we should straighten up before I give you the excellent, excellent, positive news of the boom. But if you can't wait, you could look under the show notes and see the very first link. All right, I'll tell you that, and then we'll do some loose ends, and then we'll go over it. The boom is, you know, our friend Pam Popper, another warrior, light warrior queen. She has, in her law firm, have done two excellent things. First of all, out of New Mexico, of all places, JD, there you are. So, all right, don't be interrupting me, Jacqueline. That's funny. You know, I talk to her. She gets so enraged. It gets me so spooled up. It's like, okay, wait a minute. I got to settle down. I have to explain some stuff to people. I can't just rant. Otherwise, I might call somebody a fat slob and have my channel popped. Who? Hush now. Good evening, Clark. All right, let me have a sip of coffee because my world is reversed. We are in the solstice, 3 days of darkness. So the good news is Pam, first of all, joined up New Mexico out of Santa Fe, of all excellent energy source places, has fired a lawsuit against their idiot governor, which is good news, copying, I won't say copying, I'll say modeling the format of Renz's suit in Ohio, right? That's huge, except it's queued up. So I'm giving you the actual, well, there's another one, and Pam's video right under it explaining it. And she's so excited, it's great. The real juice is that they sued both Renz as an attorney and the attorney down there, and I forgot her name, I want to say Garner, sued HHS and our boy Alex Azar, and they sued the CDC and Redfield, plus Jane and John Doe 1 through 20. Oh, good. Are you kidding me? And what is the relief they're asking? They're asking for a temporary, I will read it to you here, but it's an emergency preliminary or temporary restraining order. It's actually a temporary injunction demanding that they stop misrepresenting and that they correct the definition of death under the COVID guidelines and correct it. They're also demanding that I'm watching the time here because it's that 3 minute, there we are. They're demanding that they define the word case. They're demanding all of the stuff here, and I'm going to read it. There you go, Clark. That's why I said boom. And I said updates. I was going to say CDC sued, but that would lead to filtration, won't it? This is huge. So let me take a look at this, and then we could do loose ends if you want. I don't remember what they are. I'm sitting here on our Christmas, and I'm going to show you. I've got a bayberry candle burning. I love bayberry, especially during the holidays. I'm going to turn this off. We shall invite the killer squid to join us. Both monitors are up and running. Oh, good. So, here's the deal. This is such exciting news. Vilma shot me an email this morning. You guys remember Vilma, right? Sure you do, because this is the High IQ channel. She has been hammering this shit out of everybody. I told her this morning, I said, you are amazing. A true light warrior, brutally relentless. It's wonderful. So we're going to have to get her on so she could tell you what we're doing, right? Hey, Raven, good to see you, man. So she sends me this email and it says, CDC, blah, blah, blah. Here's the attachment. And I just called her up. I said, what? She said, oh, Pam's people, they sued the CDC. And I said, oh, my God, that's great. And I said, read me the relief, the wherefore clause, right? Oh, good, the squid jump in to add a light show. So she's reading me the wherefore clause. And then I watched the video. And I was so excited. I was doing that Zeppelin. My. I want to join the band. We're going to sing and dance in celebration. We in the promised land. Well, let's not get too enthused, but the timing, it was filed on the solstice. Wow. I love this. I hope you do too. Light warriors, patriots, believers and non-believers. Just a coincidence. I don't think that came out of Pam's side. I'm having a feeling that came in out of the New Mexico side. Howdy, New Mexico. Anyway, so the first link is the actual complaint. Now, I have not finished reading the whole thing. I'm going to print it and read it. It has been a very hectic day today, but this is huge news. Pam's video is funny. It's right under there. It's only 8 minutes. She does her quick intro and then goes through it, and you can see how excited she is. It's great. All right, so last night I went out and I took Piglet out into a dark spot. I kept him on the leash, by that little pond, because we don't want him going too close. You never know what's lurking there in Florida. Could be gator country, right? There's gators in that pond, little ones. And I found the conjunction of Jupiter and Saturn, and I was right. After sunset, it's down there in the southwest, and it was clear because it was cool air came in. It was cool today, too. And I actually just changed because I was wearing a sweatshirt when I went shopping, and that's why I have my happy Billy the Kid garb on. And I wear it this way. I got another story to finish about the supermarket, but this is really important stuff. So I really should do important stuff, and so you can share it and people can watch it and say, who is this babbling idiot, right? Or, oh, he's not a babbling idiot. Anyway, the deal is, it is the red star in the west, just above, I'll say about 20 degrees, 25 degrees off of the horizon up, is the red star, and that's Jupiter. It's a little pinkish, depending how clear you are. Here we have a lot of humidity, right? So it obstructs the view. And right beside it, right beside it, like, this much, is a white star, which is a planet. They're both planets, and that's Saturn. And it's got a light green hue. It's smaller. Excellent. And there they were. Very interesting configuration. Looking up, you see the moon at exactly half. It's like, curious. On the solstice, these two stars lined up, or the planets, and the moon's at half. It's a pretty powerful conjunction. So, what I wanted to say, I want to wish everybody a happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, safe, and I think that this news gives us the ability to say, holy shit, came through. Now, not to be obnoxious, but wasn't I screaming about this in June, that they should be sued? And I said Fauci should be sued and the FDA should be sued. They should be charged with fraud and conspiracy. So I didn't read it, and everybody's like, oh, no, we can't do that. I was like, oh, really? Boom, 6 months later, it happened. Good to know I'm thinking ahead. You don't believe me? We can go check my interview on Diamond's channel at the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, and there were several that I was talking about it too. So I don't know if they're taking that spin, but I am thrilled they did this. This is very good news. We will see how this progresses, right? But here's my warning. Have a happy and safe holiday season. But there's a however. Be vigilant. Know that the evil ones, the slime, this is when they slither. We are in the darkest days of the year. And they always do their evil planned slither at this time because they figure out the mindless herds are out there celebrating, busy, they got family, and they're shopping and they're preparing for the holidays and maybe drinking too much and not paying attention. So, do celebrate. Do be pleased. I am walking around thinking, gee, how does it feel for your first Christmas under the takeover of communism, right, as it's fighting in? Isn't this lovely? People wearing masks, you're not supposed to get together. Yeah. Soon we're going to be told to wear gray shirts. I was in Walgreens, and was it Walgreens? Yes. And I was like, man, that's a gross color. I like the blue ones or the red ones, but this is our new uniform. We got black pants, that's okay, and these like real pukey kind of middle gray polyester crap shirt. Like the guy says something about, he didn't like it. I said, no, it's not a good color. I said, what is that? Is that like China? And he says, well, it's like Russian. I said, it's more like East Berlin. There you go. A lovely color. So, now, This mask thing is infuriating me. But this thing here that Pam did, the lawsuit is huge. And I'm giving you her video right under it. Take a listen to it. And the link on her side is Make Americans Free Again. Scroll down, you'll see the CDC suit, but there are also the other suits that they have underway. It's real good stuff. I'm going to get hold of her in the next couple of days. I don't know if we can get her on the channel. I want to get a little juicy inside scoop. She had mentioned to me last time we spoke, was a few weeks back. She goes, we got something really big coming. I can't tell you what it is. I said, why not? She goes, well, the attorney said, don't tell anyone. I said, okay, that's cool. She goes, look, if you told me don't tell anyone, I would honor that and I wouldn't tell them. I said, I understand. You'll let me know. And here it is. Boom. Okay. So the planets are there. If you missed it last night and you can see it tonight, and it's probably too late depending where you're at around the world, paying attention to FJ. They're going to be there for a while. They're moving like a millimeter at a time. Neat, 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 neat. So these are not high-speed planets. It's not like a comet whipping by. It's not like the moon moving, big chunks every night. It's tiny, so you'll be able to see it on a clear night. But take a look. It's actually very interesting. Kind of a red and a greenish hue. Okay. A lot of interesting loose ends floating. Had a great chat with Sibel today. She is getting organized, slightly, actually extremely overwhelmed. And Vilma and I had our chat. We're going to try and talk, and should be next Sunday on, I guess in the evening. We'll put it out. I don't know if we're going to do a live stream or if we'll do a video and put it up. But she says, listen, I don't do interviews. I said, good, neither do I. I do conversations. So she says, no, a lot of people want to interview me. And I tell them, no, no, no. I'm like, okay, so what's the problem? And we have to maintain proper formality. I said, okay, so do you want me to wear a shirt with a collar and a tie? She said, well, if you want to. I'm like, okay. She says, look, you have a great sense of humor. We'll just have a conversation. I said, don't worry, Sibel, we'll be good. We'll get you on. We'll do this for a half hour, and you can explain the new initiative you're working on, and people who are interested are there. She has the opt-in page set up for the list, which is great. I said, put 4 questions on when people contact her. And these are the 4 questions. Put them in your mind and think, especially if you're in Florida, the Floridians here, and anywhere else, because this could pop nationally real quick, and I hope it does. I think it will. The concept is, hey, I want to join. Okay, great. Here's a question. Can you be a group leader? You want to be a group leader? Yes, no answers. Number 1. Number 2, do you know other people that would be interesting in getting involved and participating in this movement? Yes, no. 3rd, do you have a place where you can host a meeting? Public facility, restaurant, club, wherever, right? Yes, no. And the 4th is, what was the 4th? Oh, how far will you travel to go to a meeting? Because, you don't want people schlepping for an hour and a half or 80 miles or whatever, right? Depending on where you're at. So those are 4 important questions. Keep them in the back of your mind to know what the deal is on that, right? What does it say in there? Yeah. No masks, no arrests, no social distancing. What? At the meeting, right? No arrests. Not in Florida, man. Okay. Hang on, we're sparking. Bayberry smells great. All right, so that's what we've got. Now, I have a ton of stuff, and I want to say aloha to our Hawaii contingent. I had sent these links, this top 2, to several people back channel today, and everybody is thrilled. Do take a look, open it in a new tab, and groove on it. Yay. I guess I should go over this again, and we'll go through the whole complaint, do an analysis, and hopefully I could get hold of Tom Renz, and he can go over it with me. This is good stuff. I just wonder if there was any Reiner influence in this, yes? Don't know. There's a lot that can be done with this. This can expand in a lot of different angles. So let's see what their thinking is. Oh, good. Stereo squid. Next, number 3, and they're numbered for you tonight, campers. Smith Munt modernization. Somebody had posted, I think our Hawaii contingent posted Smith Munt modernization. Oh, the squid stopped. Smith Munt modernization turned everything black. Let's see. Okay, we'll start it there. We'll get squids in a minute. This is right out of Wikipedia. Now, I read this today. What they've done, the little manipulators, is they've changed this and they're putting it to a spin of a lot of opinion pieces. The Smith month starts and really goes from the historical, 1948, the whole deal. Take a look at this, and this might be the link you want to shoot in those tweets we were talking about yesterday, right? I was playing with Twitter. I can't even figure out how to use it. They want me to do the app. It's like too stupid to believe. So I will see if I can get it to work. I will approve the people who are looking to join. Farmer Jones 17. And that was before the Q17 popped in. I guess I like 17. It might have to do with the roulette wheel, a game of chance. Or is it a coincidence? You decide. I've got an amazing, funny story. And I also, anyway, so Vegas. I was there once, didn't like it. It struck me as like the seedy side of New York City on steroids 24 hours a day. It's like, whatever. When I go to the casino, I go there to have fun. I had a lot of fun. I don't go there to win money. And that's why I have good energy flowing. You know what I mean, Vern? All right. The fourth link is amazing. Vilma sent me this yesterday. I finally got to it today, and I was watching it. This is our attorney, Lynn Wood. This is an amazing interview, and he's speaking with Joshua Phillips from, what is that, Epoch Times. I'm putting the link in. This is to their YouTube channel, whatever the hell it's called. He's got a bunch of, they all have a bunch of, but this is Joshua's channel. Very serious, very real, I'll say a bit somber. This is not the same uplifting celebration day as Pam's announcement, but this puts this shit in perspective. He's saying what I've been saying for a long time, and I think he's an excellent attorney. I think he's better than I thought he was. He's also, as he says in here, you just listen to the first 10, 15 minutes. It's a full hour. But definitely listen. Don't be doing bullshit in the background, because what he says you need to pay attention to. It's serious. And he's talking about how he represents Dr. Simone Gold. I'm like, ooh. And the attorneys, what do they call America's frontline doctors, right? That's interesting. So I still want to know. And if you guys are tweeters, tweet him and ask, are you suing? Name Dominion, name Smartmatic in the lawsuit. Add them, right? Or why aren't you? Or can they be added? Just the question, the thought, the suggestion, hitting from whichever way you want to phrase it. Feel it and let it go. And if it gets hit by 2, 3, 5, 10 people, he'll say, you know what, that's an interesting idea. Same thing with Sydney. Okay? That'll take you what? 30 seconds, a minute? If you're an idiot like me, it'll take you 3 hours to figure out how to work it. But I'll figure it out and I'll get it working. So that's the kind of stuff, and I'm going to try and reach out to him and see if I can get him on the phone. I like this guy's style. All right, and he's talking about, this is an excellent interview, and he goes over the HCQ, discusses martial law, discusses the Constitution. It's real good, and that's all in the first 15 minutes. And at that point is where I cut it off, and I had to come and speak with the campers, right? Frogville, hey man, Santa Fe is out here in this lawsuit. Check it out. I'll love to narrate your movie, man, no problem. You got my email, shoot it at me. In fact, I've got an interesting thought. You know that guy Corey Coniglio or Congilio? That link I put in the other day, I'm going to add one at the bottom here, the bottom, because I went past my PayPal, past my Patreon. I'm putting Mozart in again for our holiday season for you campers that missed it last time. Download from Dropbox. And the bottom, we're going to jump right to it, is Burks. He's announcing she's retiring. Now, you want to make my blood boil? That's a good way to do it. So let's see. Does she completely, what's the word we want to say? Facilitate the communist Chinese infiltration attack from the inside to disrupt our society, and then say, okay, I'm going to go retire. Reminds me of Rosenstein's Stein, and he rides off into the sunset. And Mueller rides off into the sunset. All these guys. And, oh, I'm retiring. I'm resigning. I'm done here. Really. And this pasta man, he ought to be picked up and interrogated. This guy needs to be arrested. Hang on a second. Number one American traitor. Let me get me started. God. Hemp. Resignation out the window, but stopped from impact by a rope. Yoo-hoo. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? Okay, so Lynn Wood is serious. And, I wasn't going to include it, but you need to watch that. It'll sober you up and somber you up, right? After that, okay, I'm putting in the links from yesterday morning's video. I mean, I was having fun. I had a good energy blast. It was solstice morning. We were in the sunlight, and I was kidding around. We were talking about Heartbreaker and trying to play with code, and Annie's back in town. And I bet you guys figure I got abducted by Anna Banana. Didn't happen. Got to try the next day or two to see if I can wish her a Merry Christmas. But that's the deal. So I went over these links, and this is serious as a heart attack, okay? Let me hit them real quickly for you. If you didn't see them, check it out. Important stuff. EEOC approves employer-mandated vaccines. And it's like they're exempting the Americans from Disabilities Act. They're saying it doesn't apply. Take a read on this, and you tell me if I'm missing this. This is an outrage that there is no defense, there is no exception based on the ADA. However, the good news is right at this minute, this asshole vaccine is experimental. Moderna just got approved as an EUA, Emergency Use Authorization. Pfizer was approved the week before, so they're distributing it. Okay. It's experimental. Be clear on that, okay? I don't remember if I put the girl in with the mask. That was in yesterday. No, it's not on this list. So this is number 5 is EEOC, employer-mandated vaccines. They cannot mandate it if it's experimental. That violates the Geneva Convention. And what I said yesterday is these guys are very savvy. They're very sophisticated and is devious, diabolical. They're waiting until they get their full FDA approval for COVID as a vaccine, and then they can mandate it. Right now, it's experimental. You understand? So that won't work. Now you're into a Nazi war camp and saying, okay, we're experimenting on our mindless herd. But they're not going to do that because they know they're stepping out of bounds, because they know exactly what they're doing. All right? In Frogville, I'll definitely narrate that movie. Right. You can't take experimental drugs unless you study street pharmacology. Easy. I think it's time for the killer squid, and they call for the mushrooms. Somebody said that a while ago. I said, oh my God, no more shrooms for you. Anyway, EEOC. So this is very serious, okay? I'll try not to fool around, but it's so much fun seeing you guys. The next one, number 6, is Vernon Coleman. This is popping up in a couple of places. Hi there, Molly. I see you. I'm glad you're enjoying the show. Vernon Coleman out of Britain, right? Purple, little tiny purple dots. Is that a micro dot? Grateful Dead, man. Zeppelin? Nobody's fault but mine. How did he know? Vernon Coleman. He's a Brit, and he lays out another short video, must watch, and it's on brand new YouTube, because YouTube is not. This is an urgent release about the COVID-19 vaccine. Now, I was incorrect because I do this by memory most of the time, unless I'm actually reading it. But that kind of takes the fun out of being wrong, doesn't it? I said yesterday 150,000. Based on the CDC statistics, it was 112,000 with about 3,100 adverse health effects. Now, in there, he reads you what it is. Underneath that, FJ puts out for you the CDC report on adverse health results or effects. What is that? That means an adverse health effects means you cannot conduct your life normally. What? That sounds like a debilitating impact. They don't call it a debilitating impact. They call it an adverse health effect. Are they trying to sanitize it? Right? They're sanitizing the file before they hand it over. That means they're removing anything incriminating. This is the smart-ass language that they use. The other part of an adverse health effect is the inability to work. So now what does that mean? You're a vegetable, you're passed out, you're so injured. What kind of injuries? But they're not telling you, at least as far as I can tell, what the exact adverse health effect was, what occurred. All right? But it's almost 3%, 2.7% according to Vernon's numbers, have adverse health effects. Wow. How many people died from this? 99.97 survive. So 0.03 versus 3%. So which is more risky? Well, it seems to me that's 100-fold more risky taking this experimental vaccine. And I've spoken to people, I'll say hello to Brenda out there, who is like lining up to go get this. Like, whoa, I wouldn't take an experimental vaccine. Wow. No way. And it's an mRNA. That means it adjusts your DNA. Okay? And on young women, the Pfizer has shown to include information, as I understand this, include what chemicals that cause sterility. We have multiple reports of that out of England. Has our mainstream media told us that? No, no. Right? No, no. So this is the CDC report. This is a PDF from them, but it's like almost in a poster format. And what happens is, scroll down into this thing on your screen to page 7, and that's where they're talking about adverse health results. Somebody else had sent me this a couple of days ago. I didn't look at it, but I saw this from Vernon's, and I put it up yesterday. So I responded, yeah, I grabbed it and I put it up. The next link is Mozart, which is that great album I was playing in the morning. Of course, I had to open my big mouth and say, great, I got 2,200 viewers in this channel. And out of that, or subscribers, and out of that, I'm getting 1,500 views. Yeah, right. So after I mention that, what happens? Boom, gets cut in half, 700, 800. What a crock. And people are saying, no, I'm not getting response. And I'll say hi to James out there down in Boca. And he was saying, he didn't know, who said that? Carl out in Kansas said that. And, oh, by the way, Jim was going out. He said to go look for the Christmas star. Just a heads up, man. The Christmas star is about 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock, right? I remember when I was a little kid, get up and see what Santa Claus left. And you'd always see that star out at 4 o'clock, 4:35 in the morning in the east. And that song, as you know, is, there's a star in the sky on Christmas morning. Rise up, shepherds, and follow. I'll try and keep it in key, a cappella. You know, there's a star in the east. Okay, so there's a feeling I get when I look to the west, but that's for the planets. This is a star in the east. Well, now, number nine. Hey, Charles, how you doing, man? PayPal link for direct contributions, and I thank the contributors. And I've only sent out a couple of notes. I'm catching up. I'm like way behind, and I'm way behind on posting in Patreon. So I should probably spend an hour and smash all this stuff in there. But the links are here, man, and there's a lot of information. And the link is, then there's Patreon, and Patreon, if you want to join for any amount that you can help support the channel that works for you, is great. And everybody's getting everything, so I don't have it set up with tiers like this whole little cottage industry. You know what I mean? It's just there, and I appreciate it, and it's great. And then number 11, which gave us an extra paragraph of 12 with our high-tech machine, says, Burke says she plans to retire, but she didn't say when. So, the boom is the news on the CDC lawsuit, right? Frogville saying, right, all the RNA alters the DNA, and it's very possible that might accept future payload like a key in a lock. Correct. Distinct possibility. The other concern is if you do this and you inject or inoculate military, because we got some idiot general wants to do that, they could be susceptible to a 5G attack in the battlefield, right? Might be activated by it. Well, now, just saying. So listen, again, I repeat, enjoy the holidays. This is real good news up top. Listen to Lynn Wood. That's link number 4. It's somber but serious and real good. It's like he's discussing this as a trial attorney giving you a closing argument or an opening statement, summarizing everything in juicy detail. Very well done. And I haven't even finished it. You just hang in for 15 minutes. It'll change your mood. But the top is the celebration day. The point being, again, that be vigilant. Pay attention. What happened in, what the hell was that town? Naples. They passed the mandate. It was a 4-3 vote, right? They did it at 8:30 in the morning. They said, and I've got a link, I'll put the link up to the report article. Sibel told me that one of her group out of Naples, a couple of people were there. She was told that 80% of the audience was pro-mask, but the report from the reporter said it was about a 50-50. It appears there may have been fistfights and brawls there. Oh, good. I couldn't make it. I don't live there, so they don't need me coming in to vomit on them. We'll deal with this here. And there's another little development. Oh boy, what's his name? Louis Leo IV, who brought the case back in June for the emergency injunction on the masks in West Palm. And it was heard a month later because it was an emergency. No order to show cause, no evidentiary hearing, in spite of the suggestions made by yours truly. The bottom line is he did a motion to disqualify that judge, Kastranakis, and based on the fact that he was seen and photographed at a Christmas party not wearing a mask at the buffet. Okay, it's like, who cares? Is that going to get a rehearing in order to, what shall we say, conduct an evidentiary hearing? Or reconsider the smart-ass opinion that says wearing a mask is the same as a Band-Aid, even though OSHA has come out with many, many, many pages on fitting masks, wearing masks, type of mask, impact of mask, and studies on oxygen and CO2. So I don't think they have any of that on Band-Aids. Hey, Judge, it is respectfully submitted that the court may have misapprehended both the facts and the law of this case and ask that we re-argue and reconsider this case while conducting an evidentiary hearing. No evidentiary hearings going on. This is what's great about Pam's case. They're basing it on facts. What are the facts, right? And that's why DeWine and his crew are not producing the evidence, right? How many cases? What's this? What's that? No. Nothing. They're hiding the bullshit. They're out knocking on doors, telling people, we got to get Pam back on the show, that, oh, well, you can get a free COVID test. We can do that. So they're basically soliciting, what do we want to call them, volunteers to take tests so they can keep cranking their numbers up and getting that government money. Azar? We've got ourselves a situation. Wow. Now, are they part of the communist Chinese? Or are they just like greed-ridden psychopaths with no liability for those adverse health results? You decide. Just a quick shout out to Mikey up in New York, who I haven't talked to for a long time. I know this guy 30 years, maybe more. Yeah, definitely more. I think I know him from 8th grade. And we connected up after that. And I think he was one of the first cases, if not the first case I handled as a private attorney. And it was pretty funny because he was a computer guy and they confiscated his computer. And I'm like, what do you mean they confiscated? So we went in, We made a deal with them. They gave him back the computer, and they paid him, I don't know, not a whole lot of money, but a couple of grand. And to this day, they still don't know why they wrote that check to him. How did that happen? Some people accuse me of having the ability to convince normal people to do things they wouldn't normally do. Who's that saying? Hey, Jones. FJ to you. We're on a first name basis. John Edwards. Howdy. Raven, PCR test. Yeah, the increased hospitalizations after injections started. That's worrisome and seeing extreme flu severity. Raven, you got data on that? Can you please smack a link into the comments section? I'd like to look at that. I was speaking with Jacqueline, and she was saying that people up in New Jersey, family, extended family, are all saying they're all COVID positive, right? And they go in the hospital, they release them. It's like the flu. So is it COVID or is it not? But evidently the flu numbers are way down. Nobody's getting the flu. Everybody's getting COVID, which is also part of the bullshit. And hopefully this is part of that case. And I'm not sure. I haven't read it. The other component is that damn PCR test. And this is another thing Vilma was saying. She went in for a COVID test. They did a PCR test. And I didn't ask, positive or negative. I guess negative. Otherwise, she'd be in quarantine. But she calls up the health department and say, how many cycles on that? And they said, well, we don't know. You'll have to call the lab. So she said, okay. So she calls the lab, runs it down. And the lab says, well, we don't know. You'll have to ask the health department. It's like, you don't know the lab? Well, we've got some campers out there that have employees in various, shall we say, labs. Relatively high positions, and they don't know either. It's like, so who the hell knows? But what are they doing? They're busy. They're slammed with the amount of tests they have to process. I guess the cash flow is so enormous that who cares how many cycles? We're just running tests, man. So there you go. Run the test, run the test. You don't know what the hell the test is. You don't know what you're testing, but do it to catch up. Isn't this a wonderful tactic? Create that frenzy. Oh my God, you're overloaded with work. Got to keep up. Got to keep up. Wait a minute. What are we doing? They've stampeded the herd. Get it? Just a coincidence, of course. That's why the media did their Event 201, etc. I wonder if Lynn Wood knows about that. It's Wood knows about that. I wonder if Trump knows about that. Interesting. What do you all think? All right, so that's what I've got for you this evening. You want me to read you that? I can, but I'm sending it to Pam. She reads it. Let's see, who are the parties? This is the first 5 pages I pulled out for you here, right? So the attorneys, it's Rents, it's Gargaz out of Ohio, and Garner out of New Mexico, pending pro-hack visa approval in Ohio. So this case was brought in Ohio, which is interesting. And I have to comment on this because I spoke to a couple of people. I spoke to Webb, and he's usually good on the details. And this is a while ago. And I also spoke to my man Carl up in New York, who is a federal Harvard attorney. And I worked on a case with him, I guess 30 years ago. Geez, time flies when you're having fun, right? That's where we sued Freddie Mac. And we got a TRO against them. We lost on the injunction portion, but we did it by order to show cause and smacked them. And Carl was very instrumental in that. And the bottom line is, I spoke to him. I said, why don't we go after these jackasses? And I told him my theory, and he was very kind of demoralized. And that's who I wanted to call today and didn't get to. And let me tell you, it feels like a Saturday to me today for some reason. So a lot of energy work. We must have done the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let's do the time warp again. Well, now. So it feels like a Saturday. So I still have to set up the artificial Christmas tree, which I might do tonight. So I'm reversed, you know. It's like night, so I'm up, man. I just have my coffee. We're good. The point is, he said, and Webb said, if you sue one of these government agencies, you have to bring the case in Washington. Well, that's not true. And, you know, they're both wrong, or what? Or do they have the option of moving to shift it? Because here's why. This case is brought in Ohio. And I'm like, okay. And they're suing the actual agency. However, you remember when the American Association of Surgeons or Physicians and Surgeons like a real serious group. They sued the FDA, demanding an injunction to stop them from interfering with their prescribing HCQ. Remember that? They did that in Michigan in a federal district court. Now, if this is only allowed to be brought in D.C., how come smart-ass defense counsel didn't say, we're going to whip this over to D.C. and stall it? You know what I mean? So they didn't. Instead, as they were moving down the road, as we wind down the road, they got real cute at FDA, and they came out and said, in a low-key thing to kind of scuttle the lawsuit, they said, well, FDA has taken the position we're not going to interfere, and that doctors and their patients will make that decision. But they haven't approved HCQ for COVID-19. Instead, they are saying that would be an off-label prescription. Yet there are plenty of actual clinical treating working physicians, not, what do we call these, public health policy people that are in the field doing the work, that are using it, and you've seen that from America's frontline doctors, right? So this is really good stuff, and they're having great results. And then we have the ivermectin. Why? And listen to Lynn Wood. He addresses this and lays out a perfect case of how this all got suppressed. Interesting. Why would they suppress this if this isn't part of a plan? Why would they suppress the discussion by Simone Gold and the doctors, bringing forth facts? We are treating people, we are curing people. Oh no, delete the video? You see what I'm saying? Just a coincidence. Oh, this contradicts the World Health Organization. And I ask you again, when was the last time the World Health Organization took an oath to uphold the Constitution? Why are we, what should we say, subservient to them? Why are we being controlled by them, influenced by them? What's his name? Who's that? Tedros guy? Yeah, the one that they filed a complaint in the World Court against for war crimes or crimes against humanity, potential genocide in his country as the health minister there. Yeah, he was a Marxist revolutionary. He brings on President Xi's wife as the goodwill ambassador for the World Health Organization. You think there's an agenda there? And who over here says that's a good idea? A good idea? The CDC, HHS. They say, well, the World Health Organization says. Who cares what the hell they said? Gates funds them, so that means they're saying what Gates says. This is outrageous, and I hope you all are ready because it's going to be showtime soon, right? Corky, hey, yeah. All right. Well, since in my time warp mind it's Saturday night, I figured I'd put the chat on. Tedros, that's correct. Yeah, it's good stuff. Listen, GTO mama, good to see you. Must be a GTO out there. So, where's my sheet? Lynn Wood, good lawyer, strong. Somebody was bitching about that. He represents Benet Ramsey's parents, yeah. And Jerry Spence represented Imelda Marcos, yeah. And guess what? He won. Guess what? He won. Guess what? Sidney Powell represented, I believe, and she wrote a book about it, License to Lie Against Weissman. Was it the people in Enron or was it the people at Arthur Andersen? Interesting. So the bottom line is, good. Like, oh, somebody revealed that they represented these people and that's a problem. Yo, that's not a problem. That's good. That's good lawyering. And that's what you need on this case. You don't need jackasses who get their cases dismissed repeatedly. Well, these guys are getting it too, but this is a different reason, right? Because nobody, and Lynn Wood points it out, nobody has actually listened to the evidence. They haven't had a hearing on the evidence. Why not? They're ducking that. This is outrageous. Those damn machines should be seized. We don't need Trump to seize the machines, although he could. Lynn Wood discusses this. I'm telling you, you'll enjoy this. And man, I'm only like 15, 18 minutes into it. And I had to stop because it was bringing me into a rage. And it's good. But the first link is Pam's case. The second link is Pam explaining the suit, which is very strong, suing the CDC and Redfield, suing, who is it over there? The HHS and Azar, plus John and Jane Doe's 1 through 20. Well, now, I love it. Ezra, thank you for checking in. Now say goodnight. Good night, Gracie. Good stuff, right? This is huge news. I didn't put it in the title because, you know, every time I put anything in the title, it comes out. But this is definitely a boom. All right? Dawn is saying, yeah. Well, there you go. Who's saying that? Heather? Yeah, why would you need to want a vaccine if there's a cure? That's why they suppressed the HCQ, the ivermectin, and all the other techniques, is so they say, oh, there is no treatment. See, we have to have a vaccine because it is deception. Expose the deception. Reveal the truth. Capture the traitors. Right? And there are angels that walk amongst us. So keep your eyes open to see them. Well done. Thank you, campers. You got me riled up, boy. That's right. Back in black. We'll see you all later. Thank you so much. Please support the channel. PayPal, Patreon. The links are there. And I had to put in that Burke's announced her retirement. That was just so exciting. I put that below the other two links. So take a look. Great stuff. Give it a thumbs up. Leave a comment and subscribe. We got Pam's, we got the lawsuit, and then we have Lynn Wood. And then from there down, I'm repeating from yesterday. It's very important. EEOC, what's his name? Vernon Coleman. Very important discussion about the dangers of adverse health risks. Love your thinking. And Molly's saying a Merry Christmas, and I agree. A Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to all. But be vigilant. Do not take your eye off the ball because they are slithering. They always play at this time of year in the darkness, right? Children of the light. So the bottom line is they passed the Federal Reserve Act. They passed the NDAA, including Smith modernization. I put a link in there that can be included in a tweet. We can send tweets out to Lynn Wood, to Sydney, to Trump. Ask why hasn't Dominion been added? Suggest maybe Dominion should be added as a co-conspirator in the Georgia case, right? This kind of thing. In fact, every state that their equipment is used, they should be named in the lawsuit, and I don't understand why not, right? Right. Quick little tweet, 2, 5, 10 of them pop in. They're saying, ooh, wait a minute, why are people saying this? This is a good idea. All right, guys, thank you so much. I'll be back tomorrow in our third day of darkness. And on the 25th, the sun rises. We will see you all later. Bye for now, campers. FJ out. Even the squids went to sleep. See? Back in black. Ciao for now.